Right, so, there's action pending, so
Ms.
we need
Gonzalez,
to,
let's let the YouTube live, sorry.
oh, did it
YouTube
start?
live
Sorry,
is loading.
okay.
Okay, we're good now. Sorry, go ahead.
So, we're going back to live session for open session. So board needs to take action on discussion on executive director and transition director contracts.
And then we could do the other one separately, Ms. Gonzalez, at item B.
Item B, okay.
Yep, separate.
And then, so we're gonna motion also to on item B. Oh, okay, we're gonna do discussion and action on A and B, so we'll do that one first, so I made the motion, right, to come out of executive session and resume, so we'll need to take action on item A. Sorry, I was
Correct.
looking at the other item A in closed session, my apologies.
No, you're good.
So in looking at the executive director and transition director contracts, is there a motion to approve item A as presented to the board?
Madam Chairman, I so move that we take the recommendation.
I will second it.
Seen, no opposition, motion carried. Congratulations, gentlemen. We're ready to go.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam President and board members. We really appreciate your support and, you know, and your guidance and your trust in the transition plan. So thank you for that.
Next up, discussion action item B, 2026-2027 Sendero Prep Governing Council Annual Resolution. Exhibit B.
Priscilla, you want to please give a quick summary of that? It's a standard resolution that we are required every year.
Right. This is our annual resolution, just stating when we are holding our board meetings, the third Wednesday of every month. That has not changed. It does also state where the location is at our school site at 1405 South Solano Drive. And just outlines what is required of us as far as Open Meetings Act and the posting of documents and the time period that we have for that. And I did prep this in anticipation of it being approved during this board meeting. So if anyone has any questions, this was also provided in the Google Drive as part of the exhibits for your review.
Any questions by the board on our governance council annual resolution?
No questions at this time.
Okay, is there a motion to approve item B, 2026-2027 Sendero Prep Governing Council Annual Resolution? Exhibit B.
I will make that motion.
Seen, no opposition, motion carried. Next item.
So I'm going to go ahead and bring my screen over for the financial presentation. This was also provided in the Google Drive. So we'll start with our fund dashboard here. Again, just the visual seeing those year-to-date amounts outlined in the green. At this point in the year, you're seeing that we are hitting those amounts for the awards or grants that we have been awarded for the year, with the exception of some of those carryover funds, such as our activity accounts, Medicaid, our spaceport grant. So those are carryover funds. So we won't really be seeing a lot of that expenditure as far as, you know, the federal grants that we have the fiscal year to draw down. And again, in the remaining percent of budget, you'll see that this specific fund here is one of our activity accounts. Specifically, our construction account, they had utilized some of their funding to provide lemonade. They built some lemonade stands for a local elementary school. So once we receive the check for those lemonade stands, you'll see that kind of prop back up and bring them back into the black as opposed to the red here. Here we've got our fund summary data, just showing the remaining percent of all the funds that we are responsible for this year. There are a few, like I said, the carryovers, such as our activity accounts, funds starting with 2-3. And then our Medicaid, our spaceport grant money, and our instructional materials appropriation. Moving on to our function dashboard, we are seeing that there is one function that is overexpended compared to last month's meeting. We had a few. Those bars have been processed and journal entered in, so they've been cleared. This one specifically is for our student nutrition fund. We were invoiced over our award amount, but you'll see it's not a very large amount. It's about $1,700. So the process for this is not going to be a bar. It's going to be a simple journal entry to charge this $1,700 to our operational account in the same function for student nutrition. So that will happen this month before the close of our fiscal year, and we'll have this all cleared up for next month's presentation of June finances.
Priscilla, what caused the overage in spend?
Generally, we do pay out our more invoice than we have award in our student nutrition. That is, since I've been here, that has always historically been what has happened. Again, it's not a huge amount, but it is pretty much the norm. And I think for some districts and charters, they do a sort of reconciliation at the end of the year where they are having to move a portion of what they've actually expended into their operational, because that food service fund doesn't cover the full amount.
Yeah, and I can explain that with a little more detail. When we order, our meals for breakfast and lunch, we only get reimbursed for one meal per student, and it has to be meeting all of the meal components. So, if, for example, if the kids get seconds or we have a little bit of food left over, and that explains that difference.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, so we'll move on to revenue for May 2026. This is reflecting our operational SEG, some adult meal fees, student fees for Yonder pouches or charger replacements, some RFRs, and then our HB 33 collections for the month. So for May, we're totaling $289,990. And then I did update our pending RFR section here on this side. There are a few that we're missing in here just for expenditures through June, since this particular report is through May. But you'll see that we are pending $349,000 to hit our bank for those RFRs.
Okay.
Trade. I was gonna ask you.
Okay, moving on to disbursements. You'll see that this is quite a bit more than what we received in revenue this month, just because we are getting invoices and purchase orders closed out, as well as during May, we did pay out the second and final installments of any stipends that were issued to instructional staff or support staff. So in total, our disbursements are $417,669. And you're more than welcome to scroll through this. It is in the Google Drive. If you have any questions on any particular transactions, I can answer those. All right. Moving on to our bar approvals, you'll see that in the listing, a lot of these are maintenance bars, which is pretty common at this time of year as we are, closing out the POs, like I said, just going through line by line in our budget to make sure we're not overexpended in any of those functions or budget lines. And the bar justifications are here on the right side. A lot of this is just benefit lines, workman's comp, adjustments to maybe some last minute supplies that we were needing. So these are for bars, maintenance bars 60 through 68. 67 was accidentally created, so that's a voided bar. That's why that's grayed out there. Bar number 70, we did receive an increase in our Fund 24189. It, of course, came later in the year. So there was an increase of about $1,500 there. And we just put that in the one line that we have for budget in there, which is for annual JARC services. The next one is another late increase in our Title II funding. Again, this was one line budget for professional development, and it was for $8,334. This was carryover, so I believe we are able to budget this into for next year's budget for fiscal year 27. All right, and these next two increases are a result of our final cash position in OBMS. So when those were created with our audit numbers, it created a negative amount to bar. I believe if you remember a little bit earlier in the year, you saw a negative 37,000 a decrease in that fund 31200. So this was processed to just true up that budget in OBMS. So showing the auditors that we do have budget authority for the full fiscal year 26 amount. So this will not be additional budget in that fund. So there will not be any journal entries in our accounting software. It's just to reflect the amount in OBMS so that we don't come in under our award amount and revenue received for the year. Same thing in our student nutrition. And this is, I want to say this is a result because we have these RFRs submitted later in the year as we close out the year. And generally, we don't receive that revenue until July. So it's not like we're decreasing, again, the budget. It's simply matching that budget in OBMS to the current year allotment. The next one is another late in the year increase from our PEC Performance Framework Improvement Grant. We were awarded another $5,000 for student testing incentives. So we've got that bar in and we are presenting that as well.
Matt or Kaz, can you just tell me what the incentives is? I'm just curious about it. I'm not worried about the budget. I'm just curious what that is.
So the incentives, it was actually in a meeting we were having with the director of the charter school division, and she offered up basically some more last minute money if we could use money for anything. One thing we've seen is with our charter contract this year, testing is a high priority for us with the ACT work keys. So one thing we've done is we've had PlayStations, iPads, AirPod Pros, Nintendo Switch, a couple different things, but along those lines are what we're ordering this time to really incentivize them to take the testing serious and participate. So this funding was directly tied to that. This is what we had to spend it on if we wanted that additional funding.
And then we do a drawing at periodic times of the year for students who participated and put effort in those tests. It's a random drawing and it's a big hit, of course, when we do that and students win those, the great prizes and they show them off and it really motivates others to kind of do the same thing next testing cycle so they have a chance to win as well.
Understand? Okay, thank you.
Thanks for the question.
Moving on to the last 4 of our bars to be approved. Again, these are maintenance bars. Pretty small amounts you'll see in 24172, our Perkins funding. We do have to remain in budget without any negative lines in there. So this particular one was for $3.09 just to true up our budget and our expenditures. And then the next one is for $33.75, just to make sure we are not over budget in any of those lines. The last one is for capital improvements, Fund 31600 for $1,800. Again, just an adjustment to cover our supply assets budget line. If anyone has any questions over any of the financial information presented, I can answer now. If not, that is it for finance.
I'd always thank you, Priscilla, for being so detailed and making it so simple for someone who doesn't know finance to the details that you explain it. You make it very simple. I really greatly appreciate that.
Thank you. That's always the goal, so I appreciate that.
All right. So it looks like there's no further questions from the board. Is there a motion to approve action items? Here we go, folks. Fund 27552, Fund 1100. 11,567-2526-061 and 62 and 63, as well as Fund 24101, 24106, 24106, 65 and 66. 27595, 31703, 24819. I'm sorry, 24189, 24154, 31200. 21,000, 26107, 1100, I'm sorry, 11,000, and then ending in 75, 24172, 24174, and 31600 as presented in today's meeting.
I make the motion to approve all those stated bar as in the agenda, written in the agenda and as stated by Ms. Gonzalez.
Second.
All right, seeing no opposition, motion carried.
All right, thank you for that. I'm going to go ahead and also pull up our second action item, which is our annual bar resolution. You'll remember a couple years ago was the first time that we presented this resolution in order to just make sure we were getting in our budget adjustment requests in time through OBMS and go through all those proper channels of approval. That has really helped, clean up budget and also present it to you all a lot more cleanly. So we are asking for the approval of resolution number 262701 for the fiscal year 27 bars.
I'll make the motion to approve that one also.
Second.
All right, seeing no opposition, motion carried.
All right, thank you, Ms. Gonzalez. Thank you, Priscilla, again, for that detailed report and keeping it simple so we could all understand. We appreciate it. And our final item on our agenda is the superintendent's report. There are no action items for this month's report. And I'm really gonna let Matt kind of take over this section today. But first, I'll actually let Leslie talk about our enrollment and going into, next school year with the new students that we have that are interested in enrolling at Sendero.
So for our enrollment, we have about 57 inquiries. That's what the list that we have with parents that have called in who want their students to come. Phone calls have been being made since last week home to let them know registration packets are complete and they have begun to pick them up. And I can let you know that we have about 10 that have been returned already out of those 50.
Yeah, so 57 is a really good number right now, and keep in mind, these are inquiries that they've come to us. We don't do sales calls or cold calls or anything like that. So it's phone calls that Leslie's been receiving and Laura's been receiving, or they've been stopping in. So if we can get the majority of those to return registration packets and get them fully enrolled prior to July 15th, which is when school starts, then, that would be a major victory for us, and more keep coming every day. So we'll see what that number ends up being. And Matt can go and take over from here. You might notice we have another guest who will be introduced here in a minute. So Ms. Parker, get ready.
One more thing on enrollment, I do want to say that the fact that we have 10 already returned enrollment packets is a big advantage from years before. We usually haven't even issued enrollment packets at this point in the summer. So I do want to thank Leslie and Laura for getting a jump start on that this school year and making sure that that remains a priority. So 26, 27 personnel. As we've discussed in prior meetings, we do have a couple vacancies we need to fill next school year. One of those being for Mr. Estrada and the school's principal. So you guys have probably noticed Dr. Valerie Ratliff Parker is on the call with us today. And Valerie will be coming to work for us as our principal next school year.
Val, you want to introduce yourself and talk a little bit about your experience, please?
Sure, thank you, Madam President, Co-Executive Directors Martinez and Sandoval. Thank you for the introduction. I'm very excited about coming back to Sendero Prep after a little tiny hiatus of working at the state level. But I do have to say that those 3 years really helped me gain some perspective, knowledge, experience to bring back to Sendero and make it and help support it and continue to create the paths that it is going on. And I'm very excited for this new board that's here too, Mr. Quesada. It's very nice to meet you via Zoom, and I can't wait to meet you in person. Ms. Gonzalez, very excited to see that you are still at the helm with the governing board. So I'm very much looking forward to working with the team again.
If you guys are, fans of professional sports or anything like that, there's a free agency period and everybody wants the top player, and that's how we viewed Dr. Parker, which we found out she might be available to come back to Sendero. She left 5 years ago, I believe, and was part of the administrative team at that time, and also taught math for the school as well for a number of years. And she went and ran her own school, and then again, like she said, worked at the state level, got her doctorate degree in the meantime as well. So she was definitely that like top quarterback that everybody wants to get on their team because it will give them the best chance to win. So that was Dr. Parker for Matt, especially because he's the one, moving forward with Sendero, and for me as well, just knowing that the school would be in the best possible hands with Matt and Dr. Parker leading the administrative team. So we're very excited to welcome her, and as the board will get to know her as the year goes on, you'll definitely see why and see those talents kind of come forward.
Yep. super excited to have you back, Miss Dr. Parker.
My pleasure to be back, and I'll be the center blocking for Mr. Sandoval.
Yeah. All right, so moving on to some more personnel, we did have some more positions to fill. We have hired a front office and attendance liaison person. They will be starting their first day under contract with us will be July 1. We held interviews last week for this position. We had several strong candidates. Lori is the individual we ended up hiring, and we felt like she really stood above the rest of the pack. We're really excited to bring her onto the team. She has close to 10 years of experience running a front office at a large comprehensive high school. We think that her strengths are really going to complement the school, and she's gonna fit in with the team right away. We also have 2 open positions posted right now, one for English language arts teacher. We have 4, potentially 5 applicants already for that position, so we'll be hosting those interviews soon. We also have the ag teacher / science teacher position posted on the website as well. We haven't generated quite as much interest in that one, but we do have 2 to 3 potential applicants for that position. Board training, that's it for, does anybody have any questions related to personnel?
No questions.
All right, we have an update on board training.
We just want to make sure that everybody's going to get their board training in. I did talk to Kevin recently. I think Matt's been in contact with Miss McNeely. They're going through those Canvas courses. Mr. Casada, I believe the same. So just kind of a quick reminder to everybody to get those hours in before the end of the month, because June 30th is the deadline.
Always a good reminder, and I do appreciate it.
Yes, we'll check in with everybody again next week just to make sure as well.
Yeah.
Mr. Davis, Ms. Gonzalez, y'all are good. Training hours, so don't have to worry about that for you too.
Yep.
And next item, Matt.
The MRI application update. So this is, we've talked about this several times. It is related to our school designation for graduation, for our low graduation rate. It was a very comprehensive application. Miss Porter told me yesterday that she calculated all the questions, and it was over 240 questions just on the school's application that we had to fill out. It ended up being about a 95-page application. The application and the budget has been submitted to Priority Schools Bureau, a bureau with the Public Education Department. They will be reviewing it over the next about 15 to 20 days, and then there will be revisions and feedback based on their review. I do want to note that the MRI application, a lot of the work that went into it is developing and tightening systems at the school level and aligning budget to meet priorities to increase graduation rates. So this will become a standing superintendent report item on our monthly calls. I'll be filling you guys in monthly on the progress we've made, where we're at in our goals, the expenditures we have in the budget, as well as once we have a fully approved plan, I'll be working on creating, I call it a one-pager. It's probably going to be a little more than a one-pager, but we'll get you guys a summary report that's a little more digestible than that whole 100-page report that really hits the highlights.
And the funding for that is $200,000 for this fiscal year.
Yep.
Any questions on that?
No questions.
Well, just so the board has some insight, I've been looking at that as well with Matt, the MRI application, and discussing that and reviewing that with him to make sure that we're all prepared and ready for when, for submission.
And thanks for that, Ms. Gonzalez. All right, our last item is the transition update. Again, we were approved today. Thank you all again for, making that transition official. And Matt and I have been working, in tandem along now with Dr. Parker to prepare for the school year, staff and student return, which is gonna happen in mid-July, July 13th for staff, July 15th for our first instructional day. Matt and Dr. Parker especially have been working with our partner at PBL Works to make sure that's a smooth, kind of updated plan for our project-based learning and how the teams are going to be distributed as far as teacher teams and student cohorts is all prepared. There's going to be professional development or centered around that. The first few days of the school year, we're also going to have a jump start or kickoff day for the new students, making sure that they're scheduled properly in the correct pathways and all of that. In the meantime, I'll be there to support Matt and Valerie and making sure that they have everything they need as far as any correspondence from the state, from any of our partners. Contracts are all kind of fully executed with our staff and our partners in industry and at the state level, grant requirements, all the different logins for all the different platforms that need to get done. All that work with the charter school division and the PEC. We'll get all that paperwork turned in for the transition from executive director for myself, to Matt. That takes a little bit of time and he's going from the PEC as well. And also, I believe there's going to be some board transition. Mr. Freitas has verbally let me know that he was going to step away. So I'll confirm that with him and get a letter of resignation if that's the case. So at next month's meeting, we'll give you an update on that. Newly retired former principal Gabe Estrada has expressed his interest in joining the board. So of course, that'll be up to you all. So when we, get to that point, we'll let you know those details. Because we will need to replace Mr. Freitas, if in fact he does resign. So I'm not sure if there's anything else, Matt, you could think of as far as that transition.
Not right now. Me and Kaz have been working pretty close daily, shooting emails back and forth, forwarding emails to each other, making sure that point of contacts are being updated when he does get a new email from somebody that we hadn't thought of yet, to ensure that all of our partners in the community are aware of the transition happening.
Yeah, including our owners of our building, Las Cruces Public Schools. We work with several different kind of departments with them regarding our building. So that's also a part of it as well. All right, that's all we have, Madam President and members of the board.
Yes. Well, we appreciate everybody at the school and everybody on the board. It's been a good year and we have a new run, right? We got a lot of changes coming, so
Yeah.
excited.
I'm
Mhm.
excited about the direction of the school, definitely.
Same.
Yeah, so I think it's great. So I appreciate everyone's time and everybody's efforts. It's been a really good year.
All right.
Agreed.
I second everything she was saying, but also wanted to say welcome to Mrs. Parker also.
Oh, yes. Second, agreed. Welcome back, Val. We're excited to have you. Dr.
Thank
Parker,
you.
my apologies.
No problem. I'm excited to come back.
Oh, yeah. Awesome. I think the whole school is going to be stoked to have you back. So thank
be
you,
great.
everybody.
All right, we'll go and adjourn now.
Have a
Thank
good
you,
afternoon.
everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Have a good afternoon.